Support WrestleTalk!
Follow us on Twitter.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I am Luke Owen. After his very surprising win in the main event of WrestleMania 34, it was announced by WWE that Universal Champion Brock Lesnar has re-signed with the company. This follows on from the various reports from the latter half of 2017 that Lesnar was set to return to UFC after his WWE contract expired, which was furthered in the week leading up to WrestleMania when Dana White announced that Brock was heading back to the Octagon, and Paul Heyman told Kenny McIntosh at an Inside the Ropes event that the Beast was done after his match with Reigns. Not only did WWE announce that Lesnar had re-signed, it was revealed that his next match would be in a couple of weeks at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia on April 27th, where he will defend his Universal Championship against Roman Reigns inside a steel cage. The length of Lesnar's contract wasn't mentioned in the press release by WWE, but some reports say that it's just a short-term deal, possibly until SummerSlam, where he reportedly will face Bobby Lashley in the main event for the Universal Championship. Fightful conversely report that Lesnar signed a multi-year deal and will also be allowed to fight in the UFC as he's still under UFC contract. Lesnar has been under a UFC contract since the announcement was made he would face Mark Hunt at UFC 200. Lesnar's WWE contract had options that would have expired in August, but McMahon really wanted him to stay as he views him and Ronda Rousey as his two biggest attractions. Fightful add that the current plan is for Lesnar to face off against the winner of Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, which takes place at UFC 226 and is for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Fightful also note that Lesnar will have to formally re-enter the USADA drug testing pool and finish his suspension, which has around 6 months left. What this means for his UFC future is interesting. Dave Meltzer, who is reporting that this is actually a short-term deal for maybe 6 months, noted on Wrestling Observer Radio in reference to Dana White saying Lesnar was coming back to UFC that Brock may have been negotiating with UFC without any intention of going back, but used it as leverage to get a better deal with WWE. He adds, at the same time, there's more money to be made for him in UFC than there is in WWE. And Brock Lesnar isn't the only person who has re-signed with WWE. As it's been revealed by PW Insider that his advocate Paul Heyman has also signed a new deal with the company. Over the last couple of weeks, there have been some questions about Heyman's future with WWE, with rumors that he could be an advocate for someone else should Lesnar have left, and the news that he and his business partner Mitchell Stewart have penned a deal for several new TV projects. PW Insider have also noted that Heyman re-signing was part of the deal to get Lesnar to re-sign. As one WWE source commented earlier, if Lesnar was going to sign a new deal, he was going to make sure he had everything he wanted, including Heyman by his side. However the contract negotiations went, they probably weren't as heated as a reported backstage confrontation at WrestleMania 34. Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet has reported that Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon got into a verbal fight backstage after the main event of WrestleMania. Satin reports that several sources have told him this story, which states that Lesnar was livid when he got to gorilla position and took his frustrations out on Vince. Sources tell us the brief but heated incident ended with Brock throwing the Universal title, some say at Vince, some say at a wall, then walking away. No word yet on what set him off. Dave Meltzer expanded on this on Wrestling Observer Radio, saying he threw the belt against the wall next to Vince McMahon. He was unhappy. Shane McMahon jumped in. He kind of wanted to fight Brock Lesnar, or at least he acted like he wanted to fight Brock Lesnar, and Brock and Heyman left the building. Wade Keller of Pro Wrestling Torch has also corroborated that there was an incident between Lesnar and McMahon and that the title was thrown. However, he adds possible reasons for this altercation. The first is that Vince was unhappy about the amount of blood Lesnar drew hard way in the match, and the second is that the spot where Lesnar launches Reigns over the German announcer's table was unplanned and they were not prepared for it. Keller notes that there are those in the company who are skeptical that Vince was unhappy about the blood because they weren't shy about showing it during the broadcast, and there are those who are unsure whether Reigns and Lesnar called the announcer's table spot together or if it was Brock going at it alone. Blimey, there was an awful lot of stuff going on the Raw after Mania. I highly suggest you go and watch Ollie David's review of it right now. And if you're looking for things to watch, why not check out our 1 hour and 40-minute review of WrestleMania 34. Click the videos over there for more awesome wrestling content.